I cannot tell you that I am walking around with the opposite sense of depression. I am happy. I have to stop sometimes and remind myself, we won. We won. We won. We won. We won. We did it. I don't have enough space every day in my collection of clips and things that I can play for you. But I cannot begin to tell you how important it is for us and for you and all of us to grasp this thing, this understanding of how we have won. I don't think you recognize this fact. There have been times when you were worried, when you couldn't sleep, when the idea of losing to this lunatic absolutely destroyed your version of you couldn't believe. Samantha, for example, recognizes the fact just right here, just very, very, very simply. Where she goes? There we go. We win. This is something that you have to. I had a client one time. It was an acquittal. It was attempted first-degree murder. And she looked at me after the jury came back with not guilty, and I said, "It's not guilty." She looked at me and she couldn't process it. I said, we won. And she looked at me and I said, "You can go home." And then she lost it. Absolutely lost it. So just remember what we're going through right now. Remember this. We are seeing something which is so incredible right now. So when we talk about this, enjoy this stuff. I want to have a wonderful, great day. Fight two things. Number one, fight your tendency to always say, yeah, but. There are people that you know who always want to say, yeah, this is good, but it's going to happen again. But, yeah, but. Stay away from the yeah, buts. They will ruin your time. They will ruin your fun. Yeah, he won, but in the lower down ballot. Yeah, but there was 2020. Yeah, but they're not going to let him do this. Yeah, they're not going to stop. There are these people. Stay away from them. And if you are one of these people, you might want to ask yourself, what is the matter with you? Can you just handle victory? Can you just handle winning? That's all. Can you just handle winning? So anyway, my friends, please make sure you stand by. Make sure you are subscribed to Lionel Nation. Make sure you like this. Make sure you hit and you smash the like button. It is so critical to our success and to getting the word up, because our mission and our message, I think, is very, very critical for people to know. But first, this incredibly important offer from an incredibly important sponsor. All right, let's be honest. Society isn't exactly celebrating traditional masculinity these days. Being strong, being a provider, being a leader. These aren't just old-fashioned values. They're part of our DNA as men. But something's working against us. And that's the constant attacks being waged on our testosterone levels. That's right. The core hormone that makes us who we are as men could be getting hit from all angles. Processed foods, environmental toxins, the constant stress of modern life. But here's what recent clinical research has discovered. All those attacks could culminate and arise in your stress hormone called cortisol. That could be blocking your natural testosterone from reaching its potential. Think about it. Your body wants to be strong and vital and powerful, but it's being held back. That's why our friends at Sculpt Nation developed Test Boost. They've created something that works with your body's natural processes using 8 powerful natural ingredients to help you reclaim what's rightfully yours. We're talking about getting back to being the man you're meant to be. Their customers are reporting what real men want: more strength, better performance, improved energy levels. No weak, watered down solution, just natural ingredients that work. Take back your masculine edge right now. Go to sculptnation.com/Lionel and save up to 51% off your first order. That's sculptnation.com/Lionel. The link in the description section is provided. Go there now. Don't wait. This deal could expire soon, and you've got nothing to lose with their money back guarantee. One more time, sculptnation.com/Lionel. Already I'm seeing people who are, and I know it's not their fault. I know it's not their fault. I know it's not their fault. I know it. But what we're doing is we're milling into the party. We are still enjoying the other night. By the way, having a party does not mean you're delusional at all. And by the way, a special hello to Kat, a new member, Kat, and of course the lovely Brian Pierce. Welcome to you, dear friends. Now, here's something which I want to look at, because I'm constantly reevaluating and reassessing what happened. This was a most critically important message, and I want you to listen to this. This is our president speaking.
Listen to this. Anyone homeschooling their kids?
And I will deliver universal school choice and power.
Let me stop right there. I'm sorry to do this. When I first saw this, I go, oh no, not another nut sitting in her car. Not some lunatic, not some nut sitting in her car screaming F this and F this. And by the way, please, as Robert Klein said one time, cursing is okay, but when you use it as a substitution for wit, there are people who think that they've discovered the F word. It's not new. We've heard it. We've kind of been around. In any event, let me go back. This woman is excited because her chance to enjoy the benefits of homeschooling and to receive the appropriate tax credits and the like, and legislative skid greasing. Well, watch her face.
Now listen to this. Anyone homeschooling their kids?
And I will deliver universal school choice, empowering every parent to send their child to the public, private, charter, or religious school that is right for them.
Listen.
And I will allow homeschool parents to spend $10,000 a year tax-free on costs associated with their children's education.
Let's go!
Hear what's happening? My friends, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to celebrate what he is doing. He is bringing back hope. This is what Obama talked about, hope. He's bringing back hope. He is making people happy again. Celebrate this. I want to say something very, very important, very, very critical. And this is very, very important. I am a very lucky person. Lucky in many respects. And you could say blessed. I say lucky. Because to say that I'm blessed means that somebody said, no, I just think I lucked out in some respects. I tend to be more positive. I'm not saying the glass is half full or half empty. I'm saying it's too big. That's it. Everybody's thought versions of that. The American educational system today is over. It is done. Let me tell you and introduce you to the next classroom. Children born today who are able to watch the greatest lectures, the greatest philosophers, tours of musea, historical documentaries, the greatest compilations and compendia of the world's most beautiful music. These people today are going to be the beneficiaries of a world that we could only dream of. Yes, there will always be people who will listen to the worst part of this. I can't help it. Yes, for every Nick Drake and Joe Beam, there was the Bay City Rollers. I can't help that. then again, that's when people immediately go for the negative. We are going to see right now the chance to have the smartest group of people. And the reason why, one of the things which is so critical, two people, Lex Friedman and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan has made it cool to absolutely, positively become and to enjoy the notion of wonder, of being in awe. Sandiford says, watching the talking heads try to completely ignore his first term performance and stir up ideas of him ruining the economy is utterly hilarious. It is. It is. And it's important to understand the only reason we listen to this, well, for two reasons. Number one, it's mildly amusing and it makes us happy. We kind of laugh at that. Number two, which is also very important. Number two is this. It's important to understand how the enemy is thinking. The enemy is never going away. Always keep an eye on them. Always keep an eye on them. But the American education system, I want to begin having schools. I want to have little leagues for brilliant. I want there to be independent, not government, but independently funded. Maybe Elon or others can do this. I want every teacher, I want every school to take someone, every child who is gifted, curious, fascinated by things. I don't want them to be just referred to somebody where that child is able to be culled and, ready for this, groomed for a world of intellectual and a future of intellectual curiosity. Grooming is two things. One, grooming as in, making yourself presentable and cleaning up and that sort of thing. Also, habituating and conditioning. We're not talking about that. We want to teach them the idea. I want to take kids to a museum. You have not lived until you walk into the Museum of Natural History in New York and you see that T-Rex or whatever it is, and kids just, that's it. That's it. And that's what we need to do. I want people, and I want this in adults. Let me ask you something, dear friends. When was the last time you were in awe? When was the last time you thought, oh my God, I can't believe this. When was the last time? Tell me. When was the last time? When? Somebody said right now, you're talking about kids with at least 110 IQ. No, I'm not. I want everyone to appreciate the ability to think and to dream and to you do not have to have 110 IQ. No. You can take someone who is, now granted, there comes a point when somebody is so bereft of minimal sapience that I understand that. But we're not talking about that. Little kids may have IQs that are high, but it's hard to manifest. Listen to what I'm saying. When was the last time you were absolutely, how do I say this? When were you the last time in awe of something? When? Look at this. Walk kids in the woods. Yeah. That's it. Pilgrim Media said, that shining city on the hill. MAGA 2025. Shades of Reagan. When? When were you in awe? When was the theory of something? And I don't necessarily mean religion, with all due respect. Religion is one of them. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I'm talking about things that are, two things happened to me. One was years ago, the notion of UFO technology. And thinking, oh my God, that one. And then lately, artificial intelligence. Machine learning, but learning. Machine learning. It's the most incredible. Okay? Now, let me tell you something else. Keep in mind this. Keep in mind also about how this is important for people to recognize their humility. Step out of your world, step out of your comfort zone, and look up to the heavens and realize that there is really nothing special about you in the scheme of things. I mean, yes, we're all unique, but lose your self-importance. Whether you call it God, whether you call it entropy, whether you call it randomness, whatever you want to call it, lose your self-importance and just understand something. You are expendable. Who was it who said that cemeteries are filled with indispensable men? Listen to this carefully.
From the boss. We need help from the boss. That's what happened. We need help. Yeah, we need help. It's all right to say. Now, they'll criticize me for that. How dare he say that? How dare he say that? No, I'll say it. I'll say it. I'll say it. Somebody said to me the other day, "You're the most famous person in the world by far." I said, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." He said, "Yes, you are." I said, "No." He said, "Who's more famous?" I said, "Jesus Christ."
I didn't believe he believed that before. I didn't believe he believed that. I'm sorry, I didn't believe it. I thought, well, he said that, but I didn't believe he believed it. You will never know what that man went through. You will never know. And when in the darkness of night, you will never know how he felt when that sound. And it clicked with him later on. You will never know what he went through and how transformational that is. You will never know. Sometimes there's these things about the humility of you. And like I said, humility and losing hubris. When I think of the enormity of space, but people always forget the inverse of that. What is also critical is not when things are tiny, but they likewise are far away. When you look at the notion of subatomic particles like this, first of all, they are the smallest. To say small doesn't even address the situation. They are so small that and please forgive me, I'm paraphrasing this, but in comparison, if you were to take a basketball to be representative of the nucleus, as we say, of your average atom, the electron, it's not the placement because they're kind of in vibrations that we don't really. Anyway, the electron in relation to this. Remember, this is subatomic particle. If the nucleus were a basketball, the electron will be, 3 miles away. But that's tiny, but it's huge. Tiny, but it's huge. Numbers, size, girth, enormity. We cannot understand 100 million, a billion light years, parallel universes. There is a key to opening your mind up. And whether you do it through artificial means and hallucinogenics, I would suggest you be very careful with that. But I think we are going to find very, very soon, my friends, that both as a palliative, as a therapeutic, but also as an expansion, a mind expansion means and application, we will be able to transcend ourselves and to open and unclog parts of our being, our thinking, our mental apparatus, so we can grasp and see and remove ourselves into what you might call psychedelic or hallucinogenic or whatever you want to call it. It's critical. Absolutely. It's got to be done correctly. When you see a child become parietal activated, when they are able to understand that their hands belong to them and that they exist, it's the most, because we're still trying to figure out what is consciousness. And that's where artificial intelligence comes in. When a system is self self-aware. You don't know what that is. I can't even say that. I'm just, I horripilate. Little hairs stand up. If a machine is self-aware, self-taught, sentient, it's going to completely change the idea of what what being human means. And when you see a child that kicks into this, it's like, wait a minute, I'm here. Whoa, wait, hey, I'm here. I'm looking in a mirror. It's wow. I have to sometimes stop and just say, wow. And I've never, ever, ever lost the ability to say, wow. And that's what I want you to know, is the ability to say, wow, to be awestruck, gobsmacked, for you to say, oh my, to be, when you say awesome, you are going to mean it. And whatever that particular is, whatever that thing is, the birth of a child or God or music or sound or sunrises, I don't care what it is. And we have to be able to take people and pull them out, because kids have been killed and destroyed and kept down and smashed and crushed by bad parenting, bad situations, bad diets, bad foods, bad everything. We could unleash talent, and that talent may be a little black kid in Birmingham, it might be some Appalachian kid, it might be some, and it may be the very smart Asian looking kid who goes to the Upper East Side. It comes in all kinds of forms. And by the way, that also means art and music and expression. We want to have the next great singers, and because that's the part of being a human. We're not always into technology. Yeah, Elon Musk is great, but there are people who can come on and play music in ways you've never heard before. There are people who can do something completely different. I don't know about you, but every now and then we will meet somebody and we will say, oh my God. When I heard Joe Beam for the first time, when I heard Nick Drake, when I heard certain forms of bluegrass later on, and sometimes we're not smart enough to understand it at first. That's what I want to do. I want to reconnect with that. I want you to watch this.
My son, essentially. So they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah,
all right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty.
Please forgive having to tolerate Jordan Peterson, but listen to what Elon is saying.
And lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. And we're making some progress.
Join the club. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the mind.
I'm going to give you a little hint. I'm going to give you a little tip. I want you to watch this right now. Listen to me very quickly. Watch
kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw.
Okay, stop right there. I want you to see what's happening right now. When you are talking to somebody, if you are on a date, if you were talking to your children, if you were looking for a job, if you're doing a radio interview, if you're doing something. It's called Rogerian active listening. Carl Rogers did it. When you get people to talk, you want people to talk. And Jordan Peterson is still wanting this interview to be about him.
All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy.
See, he wasn't done yet. This is Elon Musk. Get out of the way. Facilitate. Let him talk.
Destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Wait,
and we're making some progress.
Wait, good.
Join
good,
the club.
Wait. Yeah.
We don't care about you. See, we're trying to make. See, Jordan Peterson. We're making progress. Well, I'm making progress too. It's all about him. It's all about him. Whatever it is. Let me explain something to you. This is very interesting. Remember something. When somebody is talking to you and you're in the notion of therapy and you're trying to get to something, they have the answer, not you. And you're not going to find anything out unless they talk. Whether it's your kids, whether it's a spouse, whether it's whatever. It's the hardest thing in the world to do, especially, and sometimes you cannot do it because you're too close to the situation. Listen to what they say and give it back. And there used to be this thing that Carl Rogers did where he said, it sounds like you were saying. It sounds like you're grieving. And some people would say, sounds like. And you would say, this is Roger, stop it. But the idea is that you're grieving. And there's two things. You ask a question or you say what there's, and you say something and then you stop. And they will do it. They will access. You're grieving. Stop. I am grieving. Wait. You don't have to wait. When people stop talking, doesn't mean they don't know what they're talking about. They're thinking. So sometimes you got to wait. Don't interrupt with a thought because it sounds like you think, well, they don't know what they're doing. I have to say something now. Now, I know on the radio, you can't do this because radio, there's no dead air and radio is, well, whatever it is. Or podcasting. But it's fascinating to do this. Remember when you're doing, look them in the eye. And when you talk to your kids or anybody else on the matter, just let them talk and wait. And pausing, silence does not mean they're bored or confused. It just means they're processing. That's all I want to tell you. That's all I want to tell you. It's very, 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 very important. Very, very, very critical. Now, before we begin, what am I saying? I'm halfway through this thing. I want to do a couple of things right now. First, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you of a couple of things, and this is important. This is very, very critical. Very, 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 very critical. Number one, you must understand a couple of things here. Number one, you must understand, as I have been saying for the longest time, that it is critical, even though we're happy, and even though we think everything is great, we should be. But irrespective of what's going on, irrespective of a lot of things, there are still problems that are associated with catastrophe and the like. And that's why I want you to go today to preparewithlionel.com. Just today, do me a favor. Just go to preparewithlionel.com. Just look. I don't know about you. When I was a kid, I used to love to go to Army, Navy stores and hunting. I love to go to places like Dick's Sporting Goods. And I'll go to the camping. I say, wow, camping. Look at this. Look at the tents. Remember the old days, the tents. Look how smart this is. Look at the state of the art. Look at backpacks. I just loved it. That, if you're like me, you will love to go to preparewithlionel.com. Find out what's available. Because when it comes to emergency food, remember food, water, energy, gold, and ammo. Can't help you with the ammo. The gold that they would do later. But listen to me very carefully. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. And one more time, our good friend mypillow.com, our great friend mypillow.com. When I tell you this, you have to go to mypillow.com/Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Get a free gift. Mike Lindell is better than ever. He is just incredible. Now, let's move on. And let me also tell you something. Next topic. The ability for people today, just bear with me on this. I started in talk radio in 1980. Well, actually before that, but 88 was my first official gig. Weekend show, WFLA. Never wanted to be in radio. We don't even say radio anymore, but that's what we called it. It was a fluke. It was a fluke. I was in law school and it was a private. I didn't know. It was just a hobby. It's like, oh, that's interesting. I never liked disc jockeys. I never cared about them. They didn't mean anything to me. Wait a minute. Hold up, my friend. Cut up chatter. Hang on, girl. Trump dreamt and lost and gained, only to lead, never to reign. He was inclined to take the job of fight. USA sleeps so much better each night. The road ahead is blank, but we brought means. Our victor, leader, friend, never king. Thank you so much. A beautiful and beauteous, lyrical, and dare I say, noetic and poetic. What's the difference? Look it up. Thank you for that. Most kind indeed. What we are seeing today right now is something that nobody's ever said. I cannot tell you. Joe Rogan has changed. Joe Rogan's interview with President Trump. Forget the endorsement. I don't believe in endorsements. I don't believe in them. I do not believe in endorsement. I don't believe in endorsement. other than me showing you something, that's not an endorsement. If I say, I want you to vote for President Trump because of the fact of missing indigenous, whatever it is, that's not an endorsement. That's me telling you information that helps you. That's all. It's like a label on a box. It's not an endorsement. It tells you what's in there. What people are doing right now, by virtue of the genius of this, there are people who are taking home studios and closets, and they're in their car, and they're using this great ecumenical force called streaming. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to opinion. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the ability to speak. It's the greatest thing that has ever happened. There is nothing like this. There isn't a day that goes by when I'm not in awe. And I'm seeing people who put together things that are better than anything anybody's seen. Mr. Bradley Opland says, Jordan Peterson, like St. Paul, has explained to our enlightened mind the significance of the Bible in Jungian terms. I have to say, Al, you just don't get it. JP's lectures are part of the revolution. To you, I appreciate that. To me, he's an annoying egomaniac, but that's okay. I appreciate that. Fulton Sheen changed others, didn't do a thing for me. Billy Graham changed the world, left me flat. Left me flat. Jordan Peterson is there for one reason, and that's okay, and I dig it, is to sell Jordan Peterson. He goes for, and you know, and that's, I want you to understand something. If somebody, I will never tell you, Brad, that you were wrong, but I can't stand phonies. And I'm trying to, I can tell when somebody's trying to take this shtick further. He started off with the pronoun thing. This Matt Walsh guy, same thing. Two things. It's racism now because he milked that what is a man thing. And that's okay. But to me, very simple, very unidimensional, unicellular, not very deep. Christian says, Verve Jazz Masters number 13. Verve, don't forget CTI. Jazz Masters is great. Denon. I used to have a Denon CD player, which was wonderful. And was it a cassette player years ago. They're Jazz Masters with Tom Scott and others. Oh my God, wonderful. So understand something, Brad, and I appreciate this. If I tell you, you don't understand something, Schopenhauer meant a lot to me. What I'm telling you is that you're wrong. You're wrong about that. You think Freud's wrong? Freud opened up my world. You're wrong about Freud. I'm wrong about it. You're wrong about him. I like Freud. Freud meant something to me. Schopenhauer did something. Kant, Immanuel Kant. You don't understand this. Aldous Huxley was right. That changed my life. You're wrong. You see what you did? And I appreciate that. You're telling me I'm wrong. He helped you. You got something out of it. You liked what he talked about St. Paul. Great. The Beatles. You don't understand something. I've always said Johnny Cash is not country. You're wrong. You're wrong. Not. I like Johnny Cash because of this. I think Ring of Fire, and I think it was great to break away from that. You see how we do these things? You see how we do this? We don't like people. I hate phonies. When I see a phony, I understand there's a certain degree of phony. You have to be a little bit, when you do this, you have to be a little bit of a performer. I mean, obviously. You know who I think is one of the most unphony people ever? Joe Rogan. But Jordan Peterson is a phony. His daughter, believe it or not, shows so much more natural. She did an interview one time. I beg you to watch this. I beg you, literally, bruh, literally. She interviewed Norman Finkelstein, and she didn't say a word. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Jordan couldn't have done it. The father couldn't have done it. No. Couldn't do it. And there's this whole thing, and that's okay. Remember, I don't care what anybody says. The Tate brothers, I despise them. When I hear their voice, you enjoy yourself. Do whatever you want. If you can't see through that, That's okay. It's okay. I understand it. Remember something. I'm not saying to be tolerant. What I do is I just keep my mouth. I mean, I will never tell you you're wrong. Hey, here's my new wife. You're going to marry that? Ooh, dude. You think that's attractive? You would never say that. Isn't it funny how we do this? Isn't it funny how we do this? Isn't it? And there are these people out there who are trying constantly to tell you all this self-help stuff. You know that neurologist from Stanford who had I don't know, the guy with the beard, Huberman, doesn't do a thing for me, but he's very popular. God bless him. Everybody's different. But if you like him, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. You might say, he's a phony to me. He comes across. Somebody actually was saying, here's one too, who says some good things, but really is just so show business. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Candace Owens. She says some great stuff. Alex Jones as press secretary. Look, just tell me you're kidding. Don't tell me you're serious. Because if you tell me you're serious, I'll never listen to you again. I will ask you to leave the room. You'll never be a part of my organization if you honestly, and I love Alex, press secretary. Do you know what that means? No, you can't be serious. But that's why people say things, because what we do is in this business, we watch the meters. And all of a sudden you say, wow, that video hit. Why? Was it your tags? Was it your thumbnail? I don't know. How about what you said? No, it can't be it. We're always trying to make, and you have to be. I understand that. There are these numbers, but Candace, seriously? Alex Jones? Press secretary? Do you want to kill this president or not? Are you kidding me? And already the people like Bannon and General Flynn are going to screw it up royally for those trying to help and locate missing kids. And, we're going to go through that nonsense again. But I know it. I know it. I appreciate it. I'll take Trump any day. Be discerning. Don't fall into this. Don't be a fan. Always ask yourself, okay, has he has he let me down? I'm like that with Judge Napolitano. He doesn't let me. He's very intellectually consistent, and I like him a lot. He doesn't. It's one of the best shows ever. He is absolutely, positively so good, in my opinion, not because of how his style is, and but the way he is. Anyway, enough of that. Watch this. Think for yourselves, always. Watch this.
A goodbye. We love you. We will be back in some form.
I got to stop right there. This is the man they said he was not going to leave. This is the man who they say is going to be violent. This is the man he's going to tear the world apart. This is the man who, okay? You got that? You got what I'm saying? Look at him. Look how violent he is. Look how he and Melania are holed up in the White House with the 82nd Airborne around them, and the 1st Marine Division staving off people who dare to remove him.
So, have a good life. We will see you soon.
But wait, not so fast.
To make America great and glorious again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. My fellow citizens, America's comeback starts right now.
Donald Trump was found guilty of felony charges for his role in covering up a hush money payment to porn star Stormy Daniels.
The only crime that
I got to stop right there. When I first saw this, my brain worked so weird. I thought this picture of him was a map, like a geography.
Felony charges for his role in covering up a hush money payment.
And I said, "Oh, it's a face." What's a not proprio? And by the way, where's his lawyer? Notice Joe Tacopina. He was the first lawyer. His lawyer in the I guess it was the Bragg case. Yeah. Gone. Never hear from him again. No, all you hear is Alina Habba. Mr. President, listen to me. I know you like her. But if you can't see through that, sir, I know, I'm sure you can, but I'm telling you, put her in her place She's too busy being Alina Habba. It's not about you. It's about her. But you know that.
To porn star Stormy Daniels.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it.
Pennsylvania today, the law enforcement officials have said that the former president was quickly pulled away by the Secret Service agents, and his campaign team now say that he's doing fine.
Listen to that. Listen to that. Don't you get chills still? I can't believe what I just said. And there we have it.
Wow. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political. Hey, look what happened. Is this crazy? God bless you and God bless America. Thank you very much.
Remember that. That's all. That's all. Somebody said right now, Owen Schroyer for press secretary. I know he's a good man. Are you kidding me? Are you seriously? Oh, here's one for you. Mike Pompeo, get his ass out of there. If I have to explain that one to you, well, there's no hope. I got to ask them because I read your stuff. Do you say things to say them, or do you really think about this? Brad Rung says chills and tears. Absolutely. Horripilation. When the little hairs, the cilia just fight or flight. Very, 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 very limbic system oriented. You're just in this. Wow. Think about this. Do you really believe? Do you say that Scott Adams, press secretary? Are you serious? Here is the question. What is a press secretary for? Well, these are people that I like. That's not the issue. What is a press secretary for? What? That's the question. Not, I like him. No. No. A man they must use because of his two people. Scott Pressler is an absolute gem. He's a political organizational genius, number one. Ben Carson. Do not forget Ben Carson. Ben Carson speaks with a dignity and a calm and a serenity. He must be an active participant of your position. Be careful of, keep an eye on, remember, the first person you should always keep an eye on is J.D. Vance. Keep an eye on him. He's number 2. That's the guy you got to watch. Vivek, tell him always Vivek. It's about, and he does a good job. It's always about him. Remember, it's always about Trump. It's never about you. Steve Bannon, nowhere near the White House. No. Let him do his thing over there. That's fine. Roger Stone, I love him. Over there. Stay over there. Alex Jones, stay over there. Everybody back off. Don't hurt him. We will do, look at this. Somebody says, Owen Benjamin, just say a name. Pete Maravich, he's dead. Well, what is the role of a press secretary? You're giving me people you like. What is the role of a press secretary? Who was good? Ari Fleischer was great. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was great. Jen Psaki was good. Very, very good. Karine Jean-Pierre, an idiot. Kayleigh McEnany became great. At first, she was going through her book. What does it do? What does it do? Vivek is doing something for Homeland Security. Yes, we don't want him to be that. That's okay. That's terrific. Let me tell you what the press secretary is. Have you ever been out playing with your child or a kid? And he says, you want to play? And he's got a hard ball. You're playing baseball. You don't have a glove. Kid's got a glove. He goes, no, you keep the glove. And when the ball is thrown hard, you go like this. You kind of get it like that. You try to not slow down. If you put your hand up, it hurts and hurts your hand. And ow, ow, ow. But you sometimes get it and you try to trap and absorb the kinetic energy. 1/2 mv squared. Remember that? This is kinetic energy. Whoop, you get it. And you stop it, but you stop it by grabbing it and then slowing it down. See? That's what it does. He deflects. You are the face of the president. You are the face of the administration. All these people know everything. They've got the information. They're not looking to you to figure out anything. They know what's going on. They know it. It's like when you go to an appellate court. The half of the time, the oral argument's a waste of time. Judges read the brief. What are you going to do? Maybe you might want to fine-tune something. Ask yourself the question, what is it they're trying to do? What is it that you're trying to do? Okay, you understand something? This is the thing which is the most important. You must seriously find what the reason for this is. Okay? Candace Owens is quick on her feet and not intimidated by anyone. Okay. Great. Let her do, she can do more in her podcast or her show than she can. You can't put her as a representative of the president of the United States in an official capacity. Let her there, please. She's great. Don't ruin her gig. She can do more than ever. Owen Schroyer, anybody you've mentioned, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones. Once you take Alex Jones and make him press secretary, you've destroyed him. You cannot possibly be serious. You've not thought this one through. You're saying something else. You're saying, I like him. I like him. You see what I'm saying? You're saying, I like how she's doing. I like this. Let me see here. How about Arizona? Do we have anything on Carrie Lake yet? I know this sounds, I haven't been following it. Have you? Do we, I don't know, we still don't know about Carrie Lake. There's Ruben Gallegos. Do we know anything about him? I hope so. Do you understand this? And also, when somebody tells you something, don't find immediately like your job is to repel it. Think about it. Anybody hear of this this Summerall, this woman who was Pat Summerall's daughter, who was a chief of staff? I don't know. I'm sure she'll do a fine job. Does it matter that she's a woman? No. By the way, many of you folks the other day actually told me and actually said that a woman should not be the president or can't be a president because she gets periods and has menopause or something to that effect. Mr. Wonderful says, Lake would be awesome in the Trump administration. I trust her as CIA director or attorney general. No. CIA director? Okay. No. The people that you want as a CIA director, you don't know their names. Sicilian Boogeyman says, gifted One Nation membership. Thank you so much. Let me ask you the question. What is it that you think these people do? Carrie Lake. Okay, she's fine. Carrie Lake she's very good at what I think she's one of the best communicators. I've heard her. Got nothing bad to say about her. I think she'd do a great job. To be in charge of an administration of a group of people, the CIA, to be in the intelligence community, and you've never been? No. My friends, would you ever say, there are some times where you don't really need any particular expertise. I think other talents you have. There are others where you really, it's a very particular term of art. Let's watch something. All right. This is what I want to ask you. Something needs to be done to address this very forcefully. How should we do this? Remember this? We try it again.
Bombshell
The FBI and the CIA have reportedly validated parts of it as true.
Investigator
has reportedly validated parts of it as true. You hear that? Reportedly validated parts of it. Reportedly. I am reportedly the home run king of 1983. Reportedly. Who's reporting it? I am.
have corroborated part of the dossier.
It has been corroborated by the intelligence community.
Corroborated. Listen, I'm sorry to keep interrupting. Listen to the lies. These are the people who want to stop and prevent anything involving things such as misinformation, disinformation, data information. What do we ever do with it?
Investigators have corroborated some of the allegations in that dossier.
We do know that parts of it have been corroborated.
The president was compromised.
Look at this guy. What is with this? What is with? Is he going to the same transition doctor that Mark Cuban's going to?
By a hostile foreign government, full stop.
If you want to know about damaging information, talk about that guy that the number on the whatever it is. You know who I'm talking about, right? And ask yourself, where is the evidence? I think we know where it is.
On Donald Trump. Politically, personally, or financially.
But it hasn't been discredited. In fact, it's been the opposite. It's been corroborated. Much of the dossier has been corroborated.
This discredited dossier,
it hasn't been discredited. Your intel community has corroborated all of the details in their
golden shower tape involving prostitutes. Golden showers.
Infamous tape referred to in the dossier.
Russian prostitutes and that other thing.
Russians had a so-called P tape.
The P tape. That tape about the stuff in the hotel room in Russia.
The Steele dossier, the Steele dossier, the Steele dossier. What's in the Steele?
And notice the glasses. There's something about that particular frame pattern that makes people lose their mind or is reflective of a mind already lost. Were true. Well, what? Well, he was at a hotel. His name is Donald Trump. He met with Vladimir Putin. You know, what does that mean?
So to speak, dossier. That is false.
I don't think that's the accurate characterization for
See, you notice the hedging?
The entirety of the dossier.
For the entirety. That's not an accurate typification of the entirety of his own.
I don't know whether the current president of the United States was with prostitutes peeing on each other in Moscow in 2013. It's possible.
I don't know. Possible. I don't know. It could be. I don't know. Maybe. These are the same people that somebody said, do you think that ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine might have added or acted as either a palliative or a direct means of directly counteracting either the cause, the source, or the symptoms of SARS-CoV-2? Well, you were off. You were done, finished, through. These guys can talk about, well, maybe, sort of, I don't know. You couldn't even hint anything as to anything involving this thing called the election. You remember this? That's all I'm saying. We couldn't, if you said anything. This is the problem. Now, how you do this, my friend, I don't know. I don't even think Jordan Peterson can figure this one out, because we have to not throw away the First Amendment. Did they violate the law? How do you address this without causing or having a chilling effect on free speech? How? Mark Kolisha says, what about the undoing of the Smith-Mundt Act to introduce propaganda on the U.S. citizens, creating the glut of fake news? Must fix this. Everybody loves the Smith-Mundt Act. And let's look at it, because I know people are saying, what is the Smith? You don't know what the Smith-Mundt. Well, let's look what the Smith-Mundt Act is. Let's let's get a kind of a thing here, okay? Okay, the Smith-Mundt Act. Hang on a minute. Just 1 second. To promote the better understanding of the United States among the peoples of the world and to strengthen, cooperate, and international relations. Well, that's the landing page. Let me see. Apple pie propaganda. For over 60 years, the Smith, by the way, this is from the Northwestern Law Review. For over 60 years, and this is from 2015, the Smith-Mundt Act prohibited the U.S. Department of State and the U.S. Broadcasting Governor to disseminate government-produced information within the United States over fears that these agencies would propagandize the American people. However, in 2013, Congress abolished the domestic dissemination ban, which has led to a heated debate. Okay, let me ask you something. Do you, and I appreciate this, do you think that the government is going to be stopped by virtue of repealing the Smith-Mundt Act if it has proxies and agents and apparatchiks within the broadcast world doing the bidding for it? Do you think so? Let's assume we say, you know what, there is no more Smith-Mundt Act. You cannot do it. Or the particular section that allows domestic, quote, propaganda. Do you believe? Do you? Do you believe that this is going to change anything? No. Do you think anybody's going to say, okay, now, where did this come from? Well, we didn't violate this. Well, is this allocation? Did you deliberately? Well, we didn't. No, we don't have to do this. Why? I pick up the phone and I just call up ABC or whatever it is, or Fredo Cuomo, and tell them whatever I want. That's it. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? You understand this? This is the most important thing in the world. The idea of propaganda. When you say, what propaganda? Propaganda is from the propagation of the faith, but Gregory, whatever it was. It means something you don't like. Should we be able to promote our own propaganda? And most people say, well, yeah, because that's not propaganda. No, propaganda does not necessarily mean that it is whatever. Now, let me stop right there. This is the bombshell story. This is the one. Pay very close attention and tell me, I want you to listen to me, watch this, and tell me what you should do if you are on President Trump's task force or cabinet, and he asks you specifically, how should I address this?
The thing I sent you today that compares the number of people that voted in 2020 versus the number of people that voted in 2024 and in 2016.
Sure does look strange.
And in 2012. Have you seen it, Jamie? Yeah. It's so crazy. You look at it and you go, is this real? Oh, here it is. Because it doesn't seem to make any sense, because this is like one of the most consequential elections ever. I think everybody's pretty aware of that, and everybody is very dug in on their side. The left, he's Hitler. The right, he's saving us. And so more people voted, at least the indication would be as much people voted in 2020, if not more, probably more people voted. But let's look at the numbers. Like, look at the difference in how many people voted for Biden in 2020. It's unprecedented. It's way higher than any other time since 2012. And I'm sure probably before that, there was less people back then, right? So if you go back to when I was a kid, there was only like 200 million people in this country.
Yeah, and to be clear, 2012 and 2016 were not low turnout years.
No, they're all consistent. Yeah. This is what's crazy. They're consistent. Look, they're all like 60. Look at where the number is. It's all like 65.
Now, what's the first question? Let me stop right there. What's the first question you should be asking? What's the very first question you should be asking when you see this? What's the very first question you should be asking? Tell me. Tell me. I'll save your time. Ready for this? What's this graph? What is this graph? What does this mean? Can you authenticate the graph? Where is this data from? Where are the data from? Data is plural. No. First question. Not fact check, yeah, but I don't that there were fact check. But the very first thing is, assuming this to be true, is there any truth to this? We do this all the time. We just say things. We say, well, so-and-so said it. Well, is there any truth to it? Let's assume arguendo. Now, here's the thing, too. Gloria says the number of votes cast. Yes. How do we know this is true? What I'm seeing is I'm seeing this one graph. Nobody's told me yet what this graph is. Raul says, how many were new voters? I like that. KNEW. Interesting. Was that a pun? Was that a pun? It's interesting. So the first question we have to do is, we need somebody to come forward and to have something online that is irrefutable. The office of, and you might want to call this propaganda. Kendra says, Elon Musk says, take a statement back to its original source to find the truth. True. But also, let's just follow where this is. No, because the original source could be a lie as well. All I'm saying is, you start off, think like a lawyer. The basis for this information is this. Got it? Good. Because if you don't, nobody's going to listen to you, and they're going to say the whole time, well, we don't know if this is true. So always have a basis, some type of reason for you to believe what it is you're talking about. Okay.
5 million? Is that what it says? Mm-hmm. So that's all consistent. Look, they're all like 60. Look at where the number is. It's all like 65 million. Is that what it says? Mm-hmm. So that's all the same every fucking time except 2020. In 2020, it goes way the fuck up.
Okay, come on, Joe. Please.
Look at it. It's like 80 what? Is it 82? Is that what it was?
It's the only thing I want to say. I know he's colloquial. I know people need this. I know it doesn't really mean anything anymore, but just try it. Put a big thing on your wall with a big F, and just it's like watching Crystal Ball on Breaking Points. She says like. I'd rather take the F-bomb than the like. Nothing wrong with the F-bomb as long as Klein says, it's not a substitution for wit. But I digress.
It's like 81 and change.
81. Yeah. So it goes up a fucking sizable chunk.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, thank you for this. Now, what do you think should be doing for this? What do you think should be done? Very, very simple. The division of, remember, Trump can not have his fingerprints on this. This is not government. You don't want the government on there. You can Smith-Mundt Act. Who cares about that? I don't care about that. We are our own CIA. Understand something? If you're going to find out something, the first thing to do is to anticipate what is it that somebody's going to say. And the very first thing they're going to say is, what is this? Now, aside from that, you know, and I know that nothing about that is in any way shocking. You know, and I know that nothing in that is shocking. The next question is, from an epistemology point of view, how do you know what you know? How do you know the truth of what you know? There are people who talk about the Dominion numbers, never talk about Smartmatic, Dominion this, Dominion that, Dominion this, Dominion that. And I'm saying, where did you get this from? What information do you know? And they're saying, I really don't, but I believe the people, and I also want it to be true. So you don't know where it is. No, I don't really, but I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, I wouldn't be surprised either. I'm with you on that. I wouldn't be surprised. Demand even the stuff that is the most absolutely to you proof positive and obvious. Demand that you have an idea of where this comes from. That's all I'm saying. Always ask yourself that question. Don't just say things. Don't just think, well, that's true. You'd be surprised the stuff that they say. We are going to demand that when somebody sits down with Clapper or Brennan, you're going to say, what do you mean that this is okay? What? I love this one. Look at this. If you're going to find out something, first of all, you have to emerge yourself. I think you mean immerse yourself. but immerse yourself into something. And if you have to go through the valley of death to find out what it is that you want to know, well, okay, great for a t-shirt. I understand in part what that means, but okay. Zelensky getting nervous? Absolutely. Did you hear the latest? Rumor is it that Putin basically told Ukrainians, give me him and we'll stop this. Think about that. Think about that. I promise you, put together the best presentation. Let Elon or somebody put it together. And don't get somebody you've ever seen before. I remember one time watching, there was a fellow who did a presentation on, of all things, the Solomon Brothers building, as it was called, on the 11th day of September, 23 years ago. And I saw this at Cooper Union, and he was an architect professor he looked like a grandfather at University of Alaska, and he put together this thing. And, oh my God, it blew everybody away because he wasn't a face. He wasn't Owen Schroyer. He wasn't Alex Jones. You don't want Tucker Carlson to say, you don't want somebody where you can say, okay, I know. You want to get somebody who says, I am a clinician, I'm a professional, this is what I've been through, these are the facts. If you'd like to see my source, and you have them say, you want people not to be able to refute anything. Where do we get these numbers from? From this source. From who? From the Democrat. The Democrats stipulated to it. You can either take judicial notice in a courtroom where there's a particular fact that everybody knows. Like you could say, for example, September the 3rd, 1743 was a Tuesday. How do I know this? Well, we could immediately find out, and you ask the court to take judicial notice, and they'll do this. Or the weather. The weather on this day was, you can immediately find that out. There's all different ways to do it, or you can stipulate to it. The other side agrees. Different ways to do it. But think like a lawyer. Think courtroom. Don't let this go away. Don't let this just be Joe Rogan and some guy talking about this, or to have this tweet that Elon says, wow, it's just a graph. Enough with or a graphic. That's all I'm saying. Think. Jeff Alt, ladies and gentlemen, with comedic inversion, the details are in the devil. You understand this? That's terrific. Now, here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Somebody writes, zero plane. See, this is where you've got to run from this. If anybody ever says this, if we ever try to advance, we have to cull from the herd people who would say that because we look like a nut. That means getting rid of people in public like Bannon, General Flynn, great people on their shows. Roger Stone, great people on their shows, not as representatives of an organization or group trying to convince people. That's all I'm saying. If you want to win before a court, don't get Alina Habba. She's great on a little Instagram picture, taking pictures and putting on her jacket and doing the dance. That's one thing. You want to get somebody like Brendan Sullivan, who represented Oliver North, somebody with a bow tie, somebody who's a professor of law, something like that. Remember, that's all. Thomas Sowell would be absolutely wonderful, but I would get somebody even who was less. Now, let me show you this. This is important on so many levels. First, this is from the local Channel 7, which is the ABC affiliate. It was for years the #1 local news, whatever. I haven't watched this in years. But watch this thing I'm going to show you. This is a fascinating story. Pay attention to this. It's very important.
We have just announced that the city will no.
Let me stop right there. First of all, the music. Breaking news. This hackneyed, artificial, alarmist urgency. Bush League, hackneyed, prototypical, generic, kind of like, okay, whatever. Just very interesting. But right off the bat, the music, trumpet, fanfare, sweeping graphics, breaking news, again, schmaltzy. But watch.
News, the mayor just announced that the city will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to.
Now, you missed this, right? I'm sorry to do this, but we're going to break it apart, but I want you to see this. This is Bill's, I forget his name. And this is where all of a sudden he turns and he goes like this. He looks to his left like, what? Either that or he just recognizes there's a woman sitting next to him. Watch very carefully.
That the city will no longer issue vouchers to migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program that had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others.
Now, let me stop right there. This is lefty horse mared. They were giving out basically debit cards, just handing them out to illegals, handing them out. Come on in. Hi, how are you? Pedro, aquí, Hugo. Here you go. There you go. The guy in the back, here's one for you. Somebody, here's one in the back. Cards. Come on, stay. This was not called into account or called whatever by conservatives. You hear this? This is why we hate local and sock puppet news. Let's go back again.
To migrants to pay for food, ending a controversial program.
It's not to pay for food, it's to pay for anything. Drugs, hookers, tennis shoes, anything.
That had repeatedly come under attack by conservatives and others.
This pilot program in New York City, drenched in both humanity and controversy.
Drenched in humanity. You're supposed to remember, drenched in humanity and controversy. Drenched. They are so far giving you their imprimatur. They're saying, and both of these are lefty from way back. You've got her as a conservatives, drenched in humanity. How about practicality? This is why people hate this. This is why.
Distributed debit cards to migrant families staying in city-funded hotels and allowing them to buy their own food. Eyewitness News reporter Josh.
It's not a prohibition on food. Now listen, we're going to give you all debit card to go buy books, okay? Okay, man. Now listen, there's no way we're going to validate that you're buying. Okay. Listen to this.
John here, following the breaking news for us. Josh?
Bill, it's a program that, as you say, generated plenty of controversy, but now its absence may raise even more questions. The so-called Immediate Response Cards pilot program was designed to help feed migrant families who'd found themselves in New York with no way to afford food. The one-year contract provided what the city described as culturally relevant food to 2,600 migrant families, allowing them to basically buy what they wanted. A family of four with two kids under 5 got about $350 per week.
They're illegals. They broke into our country. It's called border burglary, sovereignty theft. Why am I giving them all the cuisine that they're... Do you hear this? Steeped in controversy, steeped in humanity.
Cover food in a program the city said would actually save taxpayers millions a year.
Really?
It also reduced food waste. You may remember the food the city had been providing in migrant shelters was seen as not culturally sensitive to the...
Oh, they're not culturally sensitive. Let me tell you something. If you break into China, I don't know why you would... They're not going to say, listen, would you like, where are you from? Oh, okay. Louisiana. Okay. So you want more of a spicy, would you like more of a Cajun? Something? Okay, fine. We're going to talk to our chef. And as far as drinks, you prefer more of a fruity, or are you water? How about iced tea? Sweetened or unsweetened? Okay. You come to this country, you break in, we give you food, and you leave it? You leave it? Do you hear? Talk about your Smith-Munt Act. Are you listening to this?
The needs of some migrant groups, and it ended up just going to waste. For more than a year, the city was groaning under the weight of more than 200,000 asylum seekers. Officials say the migrant...
No, illegals. They're not... Put it this way, a burglar is not a stuff seeker. The guy who breaks into your house in the middle of the night, he's not looking for stuff. He's not a tchotchke or a kind of an aggressive scavenger. No, he's a burglar. Listen to this.
The population has actually reduced lately. In fact, a massive shelter on Roosevelt Island is in the process of closing. In the meantime, Mayor Adams spoke on the phone yesterday with President-elect Donald Trump, who had vowed during his campaign to mass deport migrants. Aside from congratulating him on his win, though, Adams today would not say what they discussed.
Now listen, here's the bottom line. Ready for this? You don't need the Smith-Mundt Act for me to tell you this much. Number one, Adams is looking for a pardon. And he should be, because no matter how stupid the guy is, they're trying to send him upstate for basically upgrades on. No, it's ridiculous. That's number one. Number two, they're trying to say that President Trump isn't even in office yet. And you notice Joe Biden's not saying anything. You know why? Because he says, screw you, because I'm going to end up pardoning him myself. Don't be surprised if Biden pardons Trump, followed by Kathy Hochul, in addition to this, okay? Here we go. Prometheus said, good morning, Lionel. The Smith-Mundt Act, authorized legal propaganda on the American public through media. Trump must tackle this section of the NDAA to shut down legal domestic propaganda. Okay, thank you. I think it's extremely fine. Jordan, why don't you do this? You're going to run the House and the Senate. Let's do some legislation and let's stop it. What do you say? Anybody for that? I'm in for it. What do you say? Bobby Dow says, any predictions on cabinet appointments? I think he has better people advising him to swamp creatures. Yes, he does. I don't have any predictions. I don't know. I think he's got better people looking at it. Edie Crowley says, Mr. Rell, did not the powers that be break them in? Yes. So who is a real burglar? Excellent. They actually aided, abetted, counseled, procured, or hired. They are an accomplice to this. They are an accomplice. But let me go back to again, because I know you're on this Smith-Mundt Act. It's just like you're on with DARPA and HARP. Maybe because you can say, did you know the Smith-Mundt Act? What is Jerry? Jerry, would you tell, have you met Jerry? Jerry is the smartest guy. Jerry talks about the Smith-Mundt Act. Adams is on the firm calling white people crackers. Well, there you go. Look, he's a jadrule. All I know is he realizes, I know where my bread is buttered. And that's it. Now, maybe he can also try to have people enforce it. What I'm telling you is that the propaganda, as you call it, the lies are being done and being promulgated here daily on levels that nobody could ever even imagine.
The vice president.
This I've got this just absolutely positively kill me. This one absolutely just destroys me. This goes to show you how Kamala has absolutely no interest whatsoever. Look at the faces on these people. And look how you're not going to see or hear from her again. She is done. She is through. That's it. Watch.
You won't hear from the vice president tonight.
Why?
But you will hear from her tomorrow.
Look at this guy. Schmuck. You believed her. You believe that nonsense about the untethered by the future and the past and undaunted by this, about the mind. I don't know what I'm saying. Grow up. You've got plenty of black and women and foreign. You've got every kind of. She was an idiot. Grow up. You're going like this. That's something you never see in democratic enclaves, because your democratic compatriots hate this country, hate this semiotic, the symbology of this. They hate it. Grow up. What the hell is this? This guy, Morris Day in the Night? What is this? Well, I mean, wait, what? It looks like one of the earliest incarnation of the Isley Brothers. What? This is my picture. Everybody take a picture. Who is this?
Thank you for all that you have done.
What have I done?
Thank you for being here.
Anybody gonna be? Is that Mark Hamill? That come mierda. Look at this. Is that Marco? There's always, look at, there she is. She's either reading the ball scores or taking pictures of us.
Thank you for believing.
Thank you for being a schmuck. Thank you for falling for this crap the whole time. Thank you for not asking that she come up with anything substantive.
In the promise of a...
It's Ron Howard, ladies and gentlemen. He was originally, he played Opie, but now he's a famous director, and now he's, as we say, empingado.
America.
This woman she had a modeling career first. She wasn't sure, maybe kind of a L'Oreal, some kind of a thing. And then later on, the whole thing went weird because she went woke. And then they started asking about her gender, and well, that didn't go anywhere. Who does this reminds me of? You know who this looks like? Babyface. You know, the great musician. If you could change the world, I'd make nothing in the universe. It is something good, baby, if I could. Anyway, I don't know who this guy is. Hello, I'm just here. I thought there was a concert here. She's trying to do hand farts too. She's one of my students. Right now would be perfect, right? And I told her, so whenever it gets really, whenever you hear that stupid music in the background, the piano, give them one of these. They go, whoa, hey, must be the crowds here. This poor guy. I would say, I don't know. Listen, don't worry about it. If you don't like this feeling, lose these people. And what you should be feeling bad about is the fact that she doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about you.
We'll continue overnight to fight to make sure that every vote is counted.
Wait a minute. You want to make every vote? Well, start with Nevada and Arizona. You want to hear every vote that counted? You don't want to hear this. You don't want to. By the way, I saw more Harris. I think these are all the Harris Walls hats ever made or in this group right here.
That every voice has spoken.
Don't you love the camo kind of a thing? The whole. I don't know what this one is on the face. I hope that's not permanent. Look at this. She left you. She abandoned you.
So thank you. We believe in you. May God bless you. May God keep you.
Wait. Here's my favorite one. Go HU. I guess it's Howard University. And then he says, the funniest line of them all. I think he said it.
Go Harris. Thank you all.
Oh, Harris. Now he's going. This is Hillary, John Podesta. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Doesn't that just blow your mind? It kills me. Now. Here is the hero of the week. This feller. Watch this. Hang on a minute.
The polls closed, and in the week leading up to the election,
I love this kid.
The presidential election contracts on Polymarket, Kalshi, Interactive.
Polymarket. Watch this.
Brokers, Robinhood, all indicated that Trump had a wider lead ahead of Vice President Harris than the traditional polls. And joining us right now in an exclusive interview, the man who I think led so much of this is Shane Copland. He is the CEO of Poly.
Now look at this guy compared to the other one. What's his name? Lichtman, whoever the one who says, the man who's in the Nostradamus, the man who... Oh, shut up. He's never called it wrong except for this time. A man who knows not. A man. Look at this guy. Look at this.
Market.
And he says, hey, guys.
And we're thrilled to have you here. Your first interview on
Look
TV.
at him.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Thank you, guys. I love this guy. This is a genius.
In the headlines a lot. Before we even get into the whole thing, have you slept? What did you do the night of the election?
It was a late night. And I want to preface, thank you guys for having me. My first TV interview. And
Shane Copeland, Polymarket, this guy, whatever you do, Elon, President Trump, get him. Don't tell him you've got him. Put him on some kind of mystery payroll.
And
as much as we feel vindication with Polymarket being right and now in hindsight being actually the most accurate way to follow the election.
That's right.
You guys were really the first people on TV to start talking about Polymarket and make it a thing. And I know you guys got a lot of flack for that, and I just appreciate you guys standing up for it. And hopefully you guys feel the same sense of victory that we do.
We do, but let me ask you this. Did you ever worry that
No, schmuck. Nobody ever worries. What kind of a stupid question is this? No, I didn't worry about it. If I'm wrong, no, but I'll just be another Lickman. Ruined. I'm not even 30 years old yet.
Your market might not be right.
Yeah, I think that, as we got bigger, we went from being like a small niche site to sort of being a mainstream and almost household name.
By the way, this poor guy, he goes to his whole, first of all, Shane, S-H-A-N. No, it's S-H-A-Y-N-E. Okay, Copeland, C-O-P-E. No, it's Copeland. No, it's C-O-P. No. Please.
Fairly quickly. And I think that, if you take a step back, a lot of the criticism and the hit pieces were really based on misinterpretations of what Polymarket was. And I think that it was difficult to take those at face value when, if anyone really looked into it, it was clear that they were
Well, a lot of
unfounded.
the critique was, are people trying to manipulate the market?
Right.
Could one or two big whales, do something? There was obviously, you did your own investigation into this fellow from France, apparently.
Yes. I think that the thing that people
listen to this
wrong about Polymarket, the thing that I wish people would understand better, and maybe now that they're more open-minded to it, is that if someone takes a really big position on Trump, for example, there's someone on the other side. There's a counterparty. It's all peer-to-peer. So there's also a really big position being taken on Harris.
Okay, we're not going to be there. Okay, all I know is these folks were correct. And when I was doing this, telling people about Polymarket, they kept telling me, well, this is an AP. Screw AP. What are you talking about? Thank you, Pilgrim. By the way, in Italian, this means the cattle are dying. Raul Rodriguez says, to the Dems, thank you for what you appear to be. Thank you. Indeed. Now, this is the end of everything. Now, here is this. This is the worst of the worst of the worst. I've been saving this for you at the end. Okay? Listen to me. When people think they are better than you, in every organization, whether it's in church, there's the openly pious. There's the people who look at me. I'm smarter than you. Yes, you're a Democrat, but I'm an intelligent Democrat. Well, I'm an educated. I work for the New York Times, which means nothing. Just like Yale and Harvard, this is the end of that immediate cachet. Not cash of weapons, but cachet. Okay? It's changed drastically. This, ladies and gentlemen, meet the enemy.
The worst version of a Donald Trump administration is very, very bad.
One that is not only extremist, but also effective in that extremism.
Who are you?
Emboldened by a series.
Okay. Any questions?
Of Supreme Court rulings, perhaps bolstered by support in both houses of Congress, Trump will fulfill his promise to be a dictator on day one.
He didn't say a dictator. Lady, whatever. That he said this in jest with Sean Hannity. Let me tell you again. Listen to me. I'm going to say this one more time. It was a freaking joke. He never said that.
He sends troops into neighborhoods like my own to try to.
What are you talking about?
Round up undocumented immigrants.
Oh, no, that's true. Oh, yes. You mean illegals? Oh, yes. No, you're correct about
that. He sets up a network of camps.
Not a camp. A camp. Camp, it sounds like work camp, death camp, concentration camp. It's not a camp. A jail is not a camp. There's not going to be any camp activities. This is going to be holding cell processing and out. Guantanamo is not a camp. See how these words are very important.
Documented immigrants, that he sets up a network of camps.
Mass deportations. It would likely plunge the United States into something like a recession. His terror.
Wait a minute. Excuse me. Now think about this. Think about this. All of a sudden, let's say 1,000. Pick the number you want. 1,000. Make it 100,000. Make it 1 million. Make it 10 million. 10 million illegals come in. They're not supposed to be here. There's no infrastructure. There's no structure of any particular kind to maintain them, to house them, to feed them. And then that's going to help the economy. If you remove these burglars, so to speak, these interlopers, these trespassers, and move them out, the economy is going to fall. There's going to be a recession by you removing unwanted. Listen again to this.
Of camps.
Mass deportations. It would likely plunge the United States into something like a recession. His tariffs, likewise, promise to spike prices for most Americans. And
no. Hey, China, want to sell your stuff here? Yeah. Stop it. Okay, fine. Terrific. We'll do the same. What planet? By the way, this is the guy who wants to sell you an EV for $800 million.
And cause costs that go up dramatically.
That version of Trump could result in abandoning Ukraine to advancing Russian armies.
That's their business. NATO decided to come right up to the border of, listen to me, of Russia. Putin said, no. Then we said, hey, Ukraine, you want to be a member of NATO? No. Everything was fine. And Putin said, no, wait. He then said, okay, let me meet with Zelensky. We're going to work this out. Boris Johnson said no. So Putin said, well, what am I going to do? What would you like me to do? Negotiate? And they have this story about how one day Vladimir Putin says, I'm going to congeal. I don't know what this accent is. The Soviet Union. This is this myth. Everybody from Kennan on down said NATO is the problem. And Victoria Nuland is a big problem. And they keep repeating these tropes over and over and over.
Result in extraordinarily erratic foreign policy in the Middle East.
I mean, Donald Trump often talked about things like bombing Mexico to deal with drug cartels. People stopped him from doing that.
But there's not going to be.
Wait a minute. Bombing Mexico or bombing or taking military action against pseudo, or as my friend says, pseudo, quasi-militaristic, the cartels, the Sinaloa cartels. You think this is, quote, bombing? You think that somehow Tijuana, we're going to say, hey, just take out that taqueria. Do you see how they're destroying the facts?
Be any adults in the room this time?
The worst version of a Trump administration seeks various forms of retribution against Trump's enemies, real and perceived.
This is from a group of people who sought retribution against us. Remember what happened, who sought retribution against him. And everybody from Roger Stone to Rudy Giuliani to all of his lawyers to, are you the cojones these people have? It's unbelievable.
Uses the power given to him to harass and
I can't do this. Do you hear this? Take your Smith-Mundt Act. That's the problem. What about that? That's the problem. Not the Smith-Mundt Act. Okay, repeal it. That's the problem. We need to refute that directly. We need to put this online because they're not individuals. Those are apparatchiks. Those are proxies. Those are agents of a shadow government, overarching deep state, whatever you want to call it. But that's over with. And Mr. President, whatever you do, get ruthless now. Learn from them. Learn from them. Show no mercy. Don't get nice. Going in and they repeat these. They have a booklet, a card. Okay, Jerry, you take the first two tropes, you take the three, and they repeat this. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had it. We have had it, and it is wonderful. Wonderful. All right, dear friends, Pat and Brian, Pearson, Sanderford, and Pilgrim Media. And to you, Cut Up Chatter, thank you so, so much for your wonderful poetry and your gift. Brad Opland, take it easy there, my friend. Take it easy. Take it easy. Go listen to that Jordan Peterson. That's fine. Go listen all you want. You can listen to him. You can listen to Springsteen. Anybody you want. It's a free country, my friend. And thank you, Christian Janis and Brad and Sicilian Boogeyman and Mark Kalisha and Raul Rodriguez and Kendra Setlauter. Prometheus Forever. Thank you. Bobby Dowd, everybody. Edie Crowley, YouTube, Pilgrim Media, and Paul Rodriguez. And there you go with that. All right, my friends. What a great day. What a great morning. I am so invigorated. Remember, focus on the immediate. Be very, very, very critical and separate fandom with efficacy. The person you like to listen to on your podcast may not be the best person to run the CIA. And the best person to run the CIA may not be interesting to listen on a podcast. See how that one works? That's terrific. Okay, my friends, have a great and glorious day. Don't forget, follow the specifically Lionel Nation and Lionel Legal and Lynn's Warriors. And until we meet again, my friends, remember these final words. These final words for today. This valedictory, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.